This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco Nation will not score, Jackson pours. Each game I score a touchdown, head to Jackson's on Monday for a 49-cent fountain drink with Let's Go rewards. And don't forget your free banana, Jackson's. Let's go.
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RopePaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? Happy Tuesday to you here at BroncoNationNews.com. As always, we're presented by our title sponsor, RoPaint.com. All those painting projects, 20% off if you reach out to Andy Rowe and Company at RoPaint.com. It's Tuesday. It's 9:05. Jay, I was one of those mornings where I was sending an email, working, and looked up, and it was 9 o'clock, and was like, oh, crap, time to start the show. So we're live, we're here, and we'll talk Boise State for the next 45 minutes or so. We got Jay Tust, Bronco Studios. He had Jeremiah Dickey on the show yesterday. Make sure you go check out all of the Bronco Studios shows on the Boise State Athletics YouTube page. And Jay, we weren't sure, when we talked last, what we'd be covering this week, what we'd be talking about, and we got a game to cover on Friday, and we're looking forward to that. So how are we doing, Jay Tust?
I think we're all doing good today, BJ. We don't have to worry about traveling this week. I mean, that's like the best news, right? So
Yes.
A truly best case scenario, I'd have to say, played out where we just have to make the short drive over to Albertson Stadium in order to cover a championship football game this Friday.
The stable BSU starting us off in the ICCU YouTube chat today. Sick faux hawk, Jay.
Thanks, stable. Appreciate you. How about the stable? Another 1,000-yard rusher, man.
Yes, and one of our newer subscribers, I believe, by the way, too, the stable BSU. So we appreciate him for jumping on board. As you said, Jay, we were thinking maybe we're going to San Diego, which I wouldn't have complained too much about. I wouldn't have even complained if this game was back in Vegas, of course. But, yes, easier for families, for everybody, for ticket sales, and just for better chance for the team to win playing this game at home. And who would have thought it, Jay, after the San Diego State game, the rain, we're sitting there in the press box. It was borderline embarrassing what we were watching, just the offense not moving the ball and the weather and how cold it was. And everything was just it was a low point for Boise State football for at least the recent past here. And so you think, at that point, you're thinking, Mountain West Championship. Yeah, right. Hosting the game. Like, what, are you kidding me? And then 2 weeks later, you're an optimist. Maybe you were thinking it was still possible, but it didn't seem very likely at that point with what we were seeing. And you have the complete turnaround offensively against Colorado State. It continues on against Utah State, and the computers line up. And like I said, lo and behold, not only are you in the game, you're hosting the game. Pretty remarkable couple of weeks here.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also had Jesse Kurtz of the Mountain West Network on yesterday, BJ, and I think that he actually offered a pretty solid explainer of why the Mountain West uses these metrics and leans on the computers. And it really is designed to protect your teams that have the best chance at getting in the college football playoff. And if you look at what's going on in the ACC right now, a 7-5 Duke team will play for the title, and if they were to win, the ACC is in danger of not getting a team into the college football playoff, right? So I think that, the way the Mountain West does this, at the end of the day, there's two fan bases that argue that it's not fair. And I can see why they would say that, to be honest with you. Like, New Mexico and San Diego State are also deserving of playing in the Mountain West Conference title game. But the way that this thing was designed, it did give the two best teams that are ranked highest in the computers a chance to maybe still keep swinging at this college football playoff berth. And, I think that's unlikely. Yeah, I do. I think it's unlikely, very unlikely for that matter. But that's just kind of a little bit of a further explainer on why the Mountain West does it this way.
So, first of all, New Mexico fans, I think they probably have a bigger beef than San Diego State. San Diego State fans, you had your chance. Win your last game, and you're hosting the championship, and you lose in double overtime. So I don't have it. I get it. San Diego State was in first place most of the year. You had your shot, and you lost the last game. That all you had to do was in your hands. There was no control your own destiny. Win the last game, and you're in. And you're hosting. So I don't feel terrible for them. New Mexico also, Jay, you lost to San Jose State. I hate to say it. I think they won 5 combined points over Nevada and Colorado State as well, which didn't help some of their numbers. So great season, 6 in a row. By the way, I don't think Mike Prater's watching, so I can say this. We might have a surprise special guest on Friday, the head coach of New Mexico, to come on and help us preview this championship game, because he kept receipts of a Mike Prater quote from Media Days that he wants to give him crap for. So
why does he bring up the negative quotes? I said at some point in time, there's no way that New Mexico, whenever they're picked to finish 10th or 11th, I was like, there's no way they're finishing 10th or 11th.
All right, well, you need to find that one as well, because apparently our friend Jason Eck kept some receipts, and one was with his buddy Mike Prater that he didn't predict too much from the Lobos this year. So Friday is Mike Prater's day, and we may surprise him with a little guest, Jason Eck, popping on the show on Friday to help us preview the game and give some crap to Mike Prater on Friday. We're working on it. He might have reached out to me and said, hey, can we make this happen? So maybe we will. But with that said, both those teams, I get it. And then you throw in the fact that UNLV went 0-2 against the other two teams they were tied with. I don't think you can deny, maybe they're having 10-2, they're having a heck of a season. And this whole thing got screwed up just because UNLV didn't play San Diego State, which is pretty crazy. And that could have changed everything. And that is the one thing that'll be nice, Jay. Now, again, if everybody plays everybody and it's all tied, 1-1 or 2-1 or whatever, you still would have gone to computer rankings anyway. So that doesn't necessarily for sure end
all that it would have done is it would have given San Diego State a chance to beat UNLV, because at the end of the day, I really don't know if the metrics swing enough one way or the other to really determine who the top two teams in the league were. I mean, like, if anything, maybe it just bumps UNLV up a little bit higher. I don't know, but and then if San Diego State were to win that game, it bumps UNLV out of the picture, So Boise, I don't know. I still think and then it reverts back to the computers, because San Diego State, New Mexico, and Boise State all played each other, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I see what you're saying, and I would rather that be the case in terms of fairness.
Yeah.
But getting back to my initial point with this whole thing, though, the Mountain West designs it this way to protect their teams that have the best chance at getting in the college football playoff.
And it would have been the CFP rankings, correct? I mean, that was the first. If you're not ranked in the CFP, it goes to the computer. But if there had been one and or two teams in the CFP rankings, they would have that was a higher ranking system, so they would have been in for sure, which is what you're talking about, what the ACC should be doing. Yeah,
I mean, like, I didn't really think of it that way until I talked with Jesse yesterday. But that makes a lot of sense. Especially, like, you see Cal getting an upset over SMU, which now puts Duke at 7-5 in the ACC title game, and right, wrong, and different. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's like the fact they still took care of business in league play, and I get that. So, like, in that regard, Duke deserves to be in the ACC title game. But everybody's searching for that payday of the college football playoff, and this has not helped the ACC.
Sky, I hate to break it to you, but if you think that Mike Prater is spending 45 minutes of his morning watching BNN when he doesn't have to, you are extremely mistaken. I would be shocked if Mike Prater was watching the show right now, which is why I'm having some fun with that. But Jay, let's get into the Maddux Madsen discussion here. Do you want to hear from Spencer Danielson first, or see clips of Maddux Madsen at practice first?
Well, let Spencer set the tone with this, I think.
All right, because obviously has been the talk of everything that's going on here, and I would say, Jay, a lot of fans are not super happy with this. I would say that we did our poll on the post-game show on Friday night, kind of heat of the moment, and over 72% of the people, and we're talking a couple hundred votes, not 10 people, 72% of the people wanted Max Cutforth to remain the starter. And when this news came out yesterday, and I do want to get into, like, if you were surprised he made this, there's different layers of this announcement, but it was not overly positive, I'll just say. I think a lot of fans were expecting and or wanting Max Cutforth to continue starting here. Here's Spencer Danielson talking about the decision here. This is about a 2-minute clip.
To any injury updates, Maddux Madsen practiced today, so he feels good. He's ready to roll, so he'll be our starting quarterback on Friday. Max will be ready to roll as well, but Maddux will be the starter.
A debate Maddux versus Max, or with how Max has played, or with Maddux being healthy, was it pretty much a slam dunk?
Yeah, good question, BJ. We went into it, and I met with both of them and said, hey, if Maddux is, and last week it was close. Maddux just wasn't ready. Max did a great job on Friday against Utah State. So proud of him. But Maddux is our starting quarterback, and if Maddux is healthy, Maddux is going to be rolling. I mean, I see it, no different with other positions. Will we continue to pour into Max? And am I very proud of Max? Absolutely. But Maddux is our starting quarterback, and he's healthy, and he practiced today, so he's going to be our starter.
How did he practice today? What were your thoughts from what you saw?
I thought he practiced good. I thought he was on time. Thought he did a good job leading our offense, and I thought as a whole we had a good practice today.
What are you getting back, I guess, Friday?
Yeah, BJ, I mean, Maddux healthy, right? That's what the biggest thing, and that was my conversation with both of them. Like, if Maddux Madsen is healthy and we can get out all of Maddux, he's our guy. He's our starter. Why is he our starter? There's a lot of things that come into that, right? Leadership, decision-making, making the throws when we need them, the leadership on the field, playmaking ability. Does Max have those two? Absolutely. Maddux right now is just shown to do it more in games. And Maddux is our starting quarterback. I have not wavered on that, but I am very, very proud of Max. Absolutely proud of him. But Maddux is our starting quarterback.
You can't simulate game speed, so he hasn't played in a month. So how do you kind of try to accelerate maybe that in practice?
Yeah, we got to make sure that our scout team looks are fast, then they're giving the most realistic look we can. Not going to be the level that we're going to see against UNLV. We're playing a really talented defense, but just got to get him ready. Maddux is a very, very smart football player. He can do a lot in practice. He can learn a lot in practice. He can learn a lot from film. But I'm sure in the game he's going to have to get in rhythm. I mean, to your point, he hasn't played in a month, but I have absolute trust in him.
open, honest about stuff. But why kind of say today that Maddux is the guy and not, play it out or make UNLV kind of wait or worry about it?
Yeah, I don't like living in the gray area. To me, especially with our team, I don't want the talk all week to be who's going to be the starting quarterback at Boise State, because it's about the team. It's not Maddux Madsen versus the Rebels. It's not Max Cutforth versus the Rebels. It's the Broncos. And so for me, yeah, could you go into it? You can keep some gray air out there for UNLV. I care more about our locker room. I care more about our team and just making sure I'm straightforward with the media. This is us. Maddux is healthy. He's our starter. Let's keep it moving.
All right, Jay. So there's Spencer Danielson talking, and I think you are still on mute, just to remind you. But what'd you make of? We were at practice yesterday, and it was pretty obvious and clear in terms of. And I know there's stuff we can't say, whatever, but it was just by who was going first in the lines, who was getting the first team reps. It was pretty obvious, like 5 minutes after I walked in. Oh yeah, this is Maddux Madsen starting this week, and I was curious if he would come out and say that in the press conference, or let it go, or if they needed to see him practice this week and then decide, Wednesday or Thursday. But right away, like 3 minutes into the press conference, Spencer comes out, as you heard there, and says Maddux Madsen's our starter. What'd you make of announcing it, the decision, just everything that went into this?
It's not like super surprising to me that you go back to Maddux, and I think that it's kind of hard to argue with even what Spencer was saying as he lays it all out, to be honest with you. And it's so funny because we live in a world where if you compliment one person, then you're apparently degrading another person.
Yes.
But in this case, like, Max proved a ton over these last couple of weeks that he's a capable backup. And if anything, I think that's a great thing going into this matchup where, you know that you can go to somebody now and you feel confident just in case it, whatever happens with Maddux. And all that I mean by that is the kid's coming off an injury and hasn't played in over a month. That's not an ideal scenario to be thrown into, but let's also not pretend that, Maddux doesn't have a lot of experience. Like, the guy started a lot of games and he's won a lot of games, at Boise State. To the day, he's only lost one game as a starter at a starting quarterback against conference opponents.
And that was when he got hurt.
And that was when he lasted, 4 minutes into the Fresno State game and got hurt. So, he has.
I put in my story that he's 12-0 in games that he starts and finishes against Mountain West teams.
That's another way that you could. Here's the deal. Like, there's a little caveat there because, a couple of years ago, the game at Fresno, the famous game where Malik Sherrod returns the kickoff before halftime for Fresno, and Boise State loses the heartbreaker down there. That was the game where Taylor Green started and played one snap, and then Maddux came in, right? So, and
then the next week against New Mexico, Maddux finally started, but then got hurt.
Right. So, there's some technicalities there. Either way, his record as a starting quarterback against Mountain West teams is elite. And already this year, he was a part of the offense when they tuned up UNLV for 56 points here on the Blue.
Yep.
Dylan Riley rushed for 200 yards that game. I get it. But I just think that it's not super surprising. I think that, Spencer could have gone a number of ways with it. But for him just to come out and say, this is the way that it is, we're not going to let anybody, guess and create storylines and, maybe guys are scrolling social media and make this uncomfortable. He's just going to come out and say
ironically looking right at Prater and Johnny when he said that part too, I think.
Maybe. But for real, I think that he comes out and I would say that for the most part, Spencer lives it out, man. Like, he is as transparent as they come, as head coaches come these days.
We've said numerous times in the last couple of weeks, okay, this wouldn't have happened with previous coaches. This wouldn't have happened they wouldn't have handled that post-game presser like this. They would.
BJ, look at the previous. If we're being honest here, look at the previous coach. He told us one guy was going to start and he played one snap. And the other guy comes in and throws 40 passes. And then after the game, we're told, no, the guy that played one play is still our starting quarterback. It was just that was the stuff that we're used to.
So they 100% would not have told us this ahead of time.
This is the way that it is.
With Andy Avalos, say 100% would not have told us on Monday who is starting.
He probably would have told us you're starting. And I
do think there is, I I get it. Like, I do think there would be a little value to waiting too. Like, why? Like, you don't have to announce it now. Make them worry about it. Make sure Maddux is good health-wise throughout the week. Like, you could have very easily justified it too. But I also do get if the players aren't dumb, they see who's taking all the first team reps. If they even know, then it's like, okay, why why not just go ahead and tell everybody and make it out there? Well, what do you make of, like, I'll show some of the clips here at practice while we're talking, Jay, but what do you make? Just some people in the chat here saying they're worried you might be a little rusty. They're worried about, just not playing in a month. And obviously the hot hand is Max, but just hasn't practiced in 3 or 4 weeks and comes back with 3-4 days of practice and now is going to start a massive game like this.
Like I said, the guy's got a ton of experience. It's not like it's not like you're just asking him to make his first start out of nowhere. He's been the starting quarterback at Boise State for the better part of 2 seasons, and it even bled over to the end of his, redshirt freshman season, for that matter. So he's been there before. He's done this. I will say, like, could there be a little bit more of an adjustment period, like at the beginning of this game? Yeah, but it's also a Mountain West championship game, man. Like, I think for anybody that would start a quarterback for this game, it's probably going to take a couple of plays. And I don't know whether you like to hear that or not. I don't care. That's just the reality of it. Like, if anybody played any sports, like in life, like, that's just kind of the way that it is with the magnitude of these games. So it will take a couple plays, but Maddux has a ton of experience. I think that I think he'll be fine.
Kurt, you must have missed our post-game show because I actually 100% on Friday said it needs to be Maddux Madsen. If he's healthy and ready to go, Maddux Madsen, I think 100% should have been the starter. I think this is the right call. Frankly, I think it's the only call, to be honest with you, Jay. I know fans think I'm crazy, whatever, but I know there's no stirring the pot. I think Maddux Madsen should be the starter, and I know Johnny felt differently on the post-game. Again, as you said, Jay, when you're talking positively about one guy, it's got to be a negative towards the other guy, which I hate. I said that on Twitter. I hate that we're debating one or the other because I actually think Max Cutforth does a lot of things really nice, and I'm not trying to compare him, play to play and who can do this, but I also think a lot of the throw. I mean, this is just my opinion. It's not a negative towards anybody, but in my opinion, a lot of the throws that Max Cutforth made on Friday, Maddux Madsen also could have made. They had a nice game plan set up. He did a nice job. There were a lot of drops, yes, that would have helped the numbers, for Cutforth. But maybe I'm wrong, Jay. I just didn't see a ton of plays where I'm like, man, I don't know if Maddux Madsen can make that throw. And that's not a negative towards Max Cutforth. He did a really nice job. I mean, this has got to be one of the first times in history, Jay, that a player is Mountain West Player of the Week or Conference Player of the Week and then gets benched, an hour later. It just doesn't happen. It's crazy to think about. And so it's nothing at all negative towards Max. I just think when you're talking about the intangibles that come with starting, was it 24, 25 games in his career? He started a college football playoff game. He started, multiple conference, one conference championship game already. This will be his second. I just think that means something. And if he's healthy, he's your guy. And so what does this mean for Max Cutforth for next year, for the portal, for all this stuff? I have no idea. I think he is a very good, quarterback that it would not shock me. Like I said, you want to have a discussion next year, who should be starting? I'll open it up. I'm not going to hand it to Maddux Madsen next year. I think that's a fair thing. But for this game on Friday, who gives you the best chance to win? I said it Friday, and I'm shocked isn't the right word, Jay, but I am a little surprised how many people really thought that, really not happy with this and thought it should have been Max. I thought it was a pretty easy decision myself.
Yeah. I also think that it's pretty easy to simplify it. We can look at results recently and say, oh, we should do this, right? Or they should do that. But I mean, we're not a part of the game planning. We don't know what it took to set Max up for success the last couple of weeks. Maybe it took nothing, by the way. Maybe it was just like, no, just unlock the offense and let them roll. I don't know. But that's my point, is that we don't know. And so this coaching staff, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here that they know a little bit more about the situation and everything that goes into it than we do. And they know that they've got to be really good on Friday in order to beat UNLV. I mean, this is a game where you're going up against one of the best offenses in all of college football, BJ. I mean, UNLV can score. Even they might have gotten blown out last time they visited this place, but they still put 31 on the scoreboard. And yeah, maybe it was a touchdown here, late or something like that got them to that number or whatever. But still, that's a lot of points for an opposing team to come in and score on the blue against a defense that's been pretty darn good for the most part, especially over the last half of the season or so. And so you go into this game knowing like as an offense, you're probably thinking you got to get this thing into the 30s. And I think that they feel like Maddux Madsen, for whatever reason, is the guy that can do it. But it's all there's always the recency bias, who did what for me here and all that stuff. I think the encouraging thing, BJ, is that, you saw Maddux getting after it on practice, or earlier this week or yesterday for that matter. Gosh. And I think that's a pretty good sign because even before he went out with this most recent injury, Spencer told us a number of times that Maddux was very limited in practice. And so, Maddux, we said he hasn't played in a game in a month, but he might be practicing as much as he has in 2 months for that matter. And if you go back and you look at, some of his numbers from that stretch, whether it be against UNLV or whoever from that time frame, man, he was pretty dialed.
And I also, Jay, they were giving him, and I can say this because this was in the open parts of practice, but in a lot of those open parts in the drills where, typically he'd go on this side for one play, and then go off, he would kind of come back in. He was taking 2 reps for every 1 rep for every other quarterback yesterday. So they were getting him extra, what I would say, extra reps, extra, things from that standpoint in terms of just getting him extra throws, extra timing, extra reps. We'll see what happens. I mean, it is putting a little pressure on Spencer Danielson and putting a little pressure on Maddux Madsen, Jay. I mean, if he comes out and throws a pick on the opening drive or if he comes out and it doesn't start great, I mean, I don't know if the boos return or if there's any. I mean, Brad Bedell said yesterday, if you're making this decision, you cannot have a quick hook. That you're saying Maddux Madsen's your guy. Yeah. You're not 2 drives in switching to Max Cutforth. But, I mean, if you're down 17-7 at halftime or something, I mean, I don't know. But this is certainly a decision that, like I said, a large portion of the fan base doesn't necessarily agree with. So I think he is opening himself up a little bit if it doesn't work for a little bit of criticism here.
Do you think it's a large portion of the fan base or maybe just a loud portion of the fan base?
I would say, I mean, again, I know the vocal minority on social media, but we did on the poll we did Friday, 72% wanted Max Cutforth to stay in, 7 out of 10. And then yesterday, I would say easily there was more negatives than positives, when we tweeted during the press conference, that Maddux Madsen was going to start.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe large isn't the right word, but I would say there's a portion. I mean, it's not 1%. I would say that. I mean, I would say it's, I'm not sure if the overall portion is 50-50, but I would say there's, certainly, and it's funny, in the last 24 hours, I've seen that go down a little bit. All of a sudden, when the coaches, I think people were so expecting it to be Max that when it was Maddux, and a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, good call by the coaches. Yeah, it should be Maddux. Like, you weren't saying that yesterday, but I trust the coaches. They know what they're doing. Like I said, Max Cutforth has done a heck of a job, and I think he has a future. He does a lot of things really well, Jay. He obviously has the arm strength, so much so that he had 3 or 4 overthrows in that game against Utah State where guys were open that he missed on overthrows. But, I mean, he clearly has the arm strength, and the experience he had these last 3 games are going to be massive. But it's a unique situation, I would say, Jay, a Mountain West player. I forgot to look it up, but did Maddux Madsen win this year player of the week at all?
I believe he's won one.
So 2 different quarterbacks in the same season, for the same team winning Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week. I mean, that's pretty that's probably hasn't happened a ton either, to be honest with you. But
I think maybe after App State, he threw for 321 and 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
He also had 4 touchdowns against UNLV.
He did. 253 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and that was their 3rd highest. 56 points, I believe, was the highest, but the yards, I think, was the 3rd most yards. And I know you said Riley ran for 200. That's a big part of it. But that was a close game too, Jay. And I have some other – I want to get to the receivers and some other people. But that was a game where it was 28-24, and UNLV had a 4th and 1 and decided to punt it, and Boise State kind of took control of the game after that. I mean, that was anybody thinking that Boise State's just going to – I mean, don't forget, in that game, Nathan Carroll or somebody reminded me, I think our friend Tim Murray down at VSiN in Vegas, that game, Boise State closed as a 13.5-point favorite on the blue against UNLV. Right now, the spread's like 3.5. I mean, in the last 2 months, basically odds makers have this game being 10 points closer. Anyone that just assumes Boise State is going to, they've beaten them 10 in a row. Oh, we got them again. I mean, I think this is going to be a very tough game on Friday.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I was shocked that the spread was that high the first time they played, though, BJ. I mean, it's a lot of points. And at that time, was UNLV still undefeated at that time?
It might have been.
Maybe he had one loss. I can't remember. But you look at like Madsen's numbers at home over the last 2 years, BJ. I mean, he plays some good football on the blue, man. He's got a 28-3 touchdown to interception ratio over the last 2 years combined when playing on the blue. His QB efficiency rating over the last 2 years at home games is well over 160, which is pretty darn good. His completion percentage, almost 64% in games on the blue. And then you look at like his what he's done against Mountain West Conference opponents, in all honesty, and 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions over the last 2 years combined. His quarterback efficiency rating in those games right around 150. So you're going back to a guy that's had a lot of success at home against Mountain West opponents. The team they're playing on Friday, he threw 4 touchdowns against earlier this year. I just you can debate why Max should have started, but I also think that there's plenty of meat on the bone to understand why they're going back to Maddux Madsen. And mostly I appreciate the passion or whatever. Fans want to know, fans want an opinion, they want to chime in about this stuff, but for me, this feels different than the 2019 Mountain West Conference Championship game, where they put in Jalen Henderson and he got hot and he led him to a title game. And then going into the bowl game, they put Hank Bachmeier back in and benched Jalen because they were worried about Hank transferring, right? And this just feels a little different to me. I don't know. I might be wrong. This just feels a little different to me than that scenario.
Yeah, and as Bob Schuler, our friend, the old Boise State baseball catcher, love Bob, appreciate his support here. They were 6-0. Looking at their schedule right now, 6-0. Jay, they lose that game. They lose at home to New Mexico, 40-35, in a great game the very next week. And then they go on their run, and they've won 4 straight. But again, that's over Colorado State, Utah State, Hawaii, and Nevada. They needed double overtime to beat Utah State at home 2 weeks after that. So, I think it's going to be a tough game for sure. But as you said earlier, Jay, like, it's on the blue. What can you ask for? We'll find out today how many season ticket holders return their seats. I know right now there's not a lot left. UNLV got 2,500 tickets, returned like 1,500 of them, and didn't even wait for their full allotment. They returned them like the next day. So I guess they were pretty confident they weren't going to sell them. But interesting to me that UNLV, and it's tough notice, 4 days notice, I get it, but they did return a lot of their tickets. And then the season ticket holders today, if they don't want to go to the game, those will be released, and there should be more tickets out there available for fans today. But
all that I know is there'd be more than 1,000 Boise State fans if this game was being played at UNLV.
You would think so? No.
I know so.
Well, we saw it 2 years ago. I mean, they had almost as many fans as they did down there in 2023.
Yeah, and that was the same situation. Boise State, 1% chance to get in. New coach that was still an interim coach at the time, and I you know what, I let fans fan, and I it costs money, and I get it. I just think that do you know how many times since I moved to Boise, all of them at my previous stop. Do you know how many times I've driven to Las Vegas and back to cover a Boise State men's basketball or football or women's basketball team? Easily 30 times. So it is a very drivable. Your
former employer just loved you so much. I said, you can drive. Go ahead.
I'm not getting into that. I'm just my point. My point is that it is easily, you can drive it. I know that flights are a lot, but it's not like we're asking you to drive to New York. It is a 9-hour drive that is not very scenic, and I get it. But like, if all I know is that there would be more than 1,000 fans wearing blue and orange if this game was being played.
I didn't think there was any chance they'd sell this game out, Jay. Just all the stars aligned last year, and it's so hard to sell out a championship game on 5 days, 6 days notice. And it's nothing against the fans. It's nothing against It's just really hard when you have to sell every seat in the entire stadium in 5 days. A lot of the season tickets are corporate companies and stuff that maybe don't buy them back for the championship. And it's just, I mean, we've seen some great 10-win Boise State teams, I think, hosting the championship where they're getting 21, 22,000. It's just really hard to do. All the stars kind of aligned last year with Genty, with the CFP on the line, big noon kickoff. That was, and then I think it took till a couple hours before kickoff for that game to officially sell out. So I'm not expecting the game personally to sell out. I just think it's too many tickets, but certainly you see Jeremiah on social media and the push that you guys are making over there. I mean, you guys believe this thing can get close, and I think that'd be a pretty remarkable accomplishment.
We saw Jeremiah make the post yesterday. This has kind of been the standard. And, I think the one thing that I look at too is the sellout streak. They have 14 consecutive sellouts, pushing for a 15th consecutive sellout. Man, it is hard to get to that number, BJ. And the record, goes back to, some of the Kellen Moore era where they sold out 19 consecutive home games. And so I know it's a Mountain West Conference championship game, but if they were to hit restart on that, man, we're looking at, potentially 3 more seasons where you could even threaten that record. And so I know that fans value, records and things like that around here. And they play a massive role in this thing. And, even talking with Eric Chenander yesterday, nobody forget in the first half of that UNLV game, they had 4 or 5 false starts in the first half alone. I think they had 4 in the first half, 5 total for the game. So you're talking about, I mean, I know you can add it up and you're like, okay, that's basically 25 yards that the fans generated. But also you have to look at the situations, because if that happens on each drive, if you get to 2nd and 8 and all of a sudden you false start at 2nd and 13, your chances of getting a first down go way down in those situations. And so if that happens over, 4 or 5 different possessions, guys, that's making a huge difference for Boise State to try to win this, 3rd consecutive Mountain West Conference championship. So I think that sometimes it just comes off as a little cliche. Fans make a difference, things like that. But look at the stats, guys. You really do make a difference. And so to have a sold-out Albertson Stadium, to push that sellout streak to 15, I think it would be a massive deal. And on top of that, BJ, to do it in these circumstances, as you just laid out, man, that is a huge flex on Bronco Nation to sell this thing out when they start from 0 in back-to-back years. That is a massive flex that when we're talking about conference realignment and things like that, that is one heck. That's something that you can put on your resume, man, because that shows how passionate your fan base is.
No doubt. In the final few minutes, Jay, I got a couple final quick hitters to throw at you, including people in the chat worried about the officials here, having one against Boise State to help out the Mountain West here. But we can't do this without our title sponsor, roepaint.com, roepaint.com. We appreciate Andy Rowe and Company for all of his support over the years to Bronco Nation News. roepaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company, roepaint.com. 20% off those winter painting projects at roepaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. You see Maddux Madsen, Latrell Caples, Cage Casey up there, some other student athletes at Boise State. Hey, they got 7 of them. They're on board as a sponsor now with Learfield and Bronco Sports Properties. So, hey, ICCU, and make the switch today. Idaho Central Credit Union, they're back on board. You can return the favor. It's great to see their logo there associated with Boise State again. So you can do that at ICCU.com. TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. Check out TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, like I said, and we appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. Check out those chicken fingers, all the different options they have, the crispy chicken strips, and the Baja Freeze Mountain Dew Blast, and all the options there. My kids just love the good old-fashioned cheesy roll-ups there. So visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Hey, Latrell Caples, 49-cent fountain drink. If he can get in the end zone in the Mountain West Championship game, that'll be on Monday following the game. You have to use your Let's Go Rewards app, and also your Let's Go Rewards app gets you a 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night, from our friends at Jackson's. 7 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have a live episode of the Riley and Ridge Show presented by Jackson's. 7 o'clock tomorrow from the James Kitchen and Bar, and then following at 8, we'll have a signing day special. So make sure you're ready for those 2 shows tomorrow night on Bronco Nation News. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorange.com. Appreciate their support as well. Travis Oxen Company. Get on down there. Get that Max Cutforth jersey, that Maddux Madsen jersey. Dylan Riley down there at the Boise State Hall of Fame. They also have the location there at the Boise Town Square Mall. And, of course, you can order online anywhere in the world. Our friends at the Blue and Orange Store and the blueandorangestore.com. We'll be out on Friday at Lithia Ford of Boise. Join us 9 a.m. on Friday, game day. Bring a new unwrapped toy. We're having our toy drive with KTIK and Lithia Ford of Boise on Friday morning at 9 a.m. We'll have a raffle for a gift card or something if you come by and bring an unused, unwrapped toy on Friday at 9 a.m. Come say hello, meet Mike Prater, meet myself, and get ready, get your game day started. Bring an unwrapped toy on Friday, and we'll donate those and help a great cause, and looking forward to doing that. All right, so I know a lot of you are worried about the officials here. Jay, I don't think that's something that I get that, and I know some people didn't like the targeting, some of the penalties in the last game, but I really, maybe I'm just too naive, but I really don't believe the conference office is telling officials, hey man, make sure this team wins. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. What do you make of Mountain West preferring that UNLV win this game on Friday?
Well, now that
it would help their case, by the way, for the playoff.
Now that you phrased it that way, BJ, the Mountain West would probably prefer that UNLV wins this game on Friday. I mean, come on now. Like, there's ongoing litigation between, the schools that are leaving the Mountain West and the Mountain West front offices. It would probably be foolish to say that they don't prefer UNLV would win. That being said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This thing will be decided on the field on Friday. I truly believe that. So, but I'm not a big conspiracy theorist when it comes to that stuff. And I'll say this too: like, we can talk about realignment as a reason the Mountain West would prefer that outcome, but also, and I think that you just kind of touched on it right there. I mean, there's a chance UNLV's in the college football playoff rankings tonight. They're 10-2 on the season. If they were to get a win over Boise State, that would put them 11-2. I mean, there's a real chance that they would be ranked in the college football playoff rankings if they were to pull all this off. So I don't know how likely that is, but I'm guessing that UNLV is fairly close to the back end of that poll. And for this situation that we laid out earlier, if Duke were to go and win, probably UNLV would be a better shot than Boise State. And I think that we saw in the computer rankings. I mean, technically UNLV is ahead of Boise State, even in the computer rankings that the Mountain West uses for the tiebreaker. It's just, as we've discussed ad nauseum, once that tiebreaker is set, they reconsider the head-to-head. Boise State won the head-to-head. That's the reason why they get a host.
Yeah, no, I would think 11-2 UNLV, Jay, is, if Duke wins, certainly has a case. I'm not sure a 4-loss Boise State team does. I mean, that Fresno State home loss really comes back to bite you now, because if you only had the 3 losses, you might even have a case. But it is what it is. Final thing for you, Jay, the receivers, man. What do we do to get the receivers going here a little bit in terms of some of the drops? And you look at some of the targets in that last game, Jay, 7 targets, 1 catch for Cam Bates, 6 targets, no catches for Chris Marshall in that game. I was at practice yesterday. I stayed the whole practice. Practice is over. They do their little team huddle. I'm walking out, Jay, as they kind of disperse back for their little smaller, whatever you call it. They kind of meet with their position coach, I guess. And there's some guys doing some extra work. Some of the linemen are doing extra pass, taking, pass drops and things. And I look over at the receivers, and I don't think there's any problem with me saying this, but I saw Dirk Cutter having a conversation with Cam Bates, and Matt Miller was throwing balls, and Cam Bates would turn around and make cat and work on his hands. And Dirk Cutter was right there talking to Cam Bates, like helping him through some of the stuff about where to hand positioning and stuff. Like, I know it's something small, but to have a guy like Dirk Cutter, giving one-on-one comment, stuff to a guy like Cam Bates after practice, like, they're clearly working on it. They clearly have a ton of talent in terms of Chris Marshall and Cam Bates. I mean, we all thought Cam Bates and still do believe he could be the next kind of big thing here. I mean, I think Latrell Capel said it on BNN that he thinks Cam Bates is the next kind of, star wide receiver here. Obviously, they've had a little case of the drops and things the last couple of weeks. Marshall's been a weird one, all year with some of those. But I thought both in the parts of practice that we can talk about had great, solid practice. Didn't see any of them drop any balls. Like they both clearly have the talent. What do you make of those two guys and trying to get them going?
I think for those guys, it's pretty simple, to be honest with you. Like, I'll almost like go back to even what Spencer Danielson said about Max Cutforth. Like, and it sounds like this probably sounds lame, but whatever. Don't become just be, right? Like you don't have to become anything more than you are, right? Like, trust your preparation, go out there and just be. And I think that in Cam's case, he got elevated into a role in a hurry where he goes from, I mean, he's getting more targets than snaps played in some of these games this year now, right? Like, I mean, probably close to that. And so his role has really increased in a hurry. But like, just be, man. Like, you don't need to score a touchdown on every play or whatever it might be. Heck, in all honesty, you don't need to catch every ball, but by golly, catch most of them. And I just think that, or like, Chris misses a couple of games and he probably gets back in there and he's like, man, first catch, I want to house it or something like that. No, just like do your job. Like even on like the 4th and short in the first half against Utah State, the situation, tough catch, maybe the ball is just a skosh behind him, whatever. But that's one where, man, don't worry about scoring a touchdown on the play. And I'm not saying he was, but you just catch that ball, you fall over the first down marker and you live to fight another down. So I just think it's pretty simple, man. Like, don't make it any more than it is. Just go out there, do your job. And because, man, with it's funny, BJ, because this is a very coincidental game to bring up both of those guys, because what happened in the last UNLV game? Chris Marshall made one of the most miraculous catches we've seen this season on that deep ball down the seam where he lays out and he catches that thing. And then Cam Bates, that was kind of like his first big play of the season where he takes that little end around pitch and houses that thing. So both those guys had really nice performances against UNLV last time, and hopefully they can again this time. But the efficiency has to, I will say, I don't think anybody would argue that the efficiency has to be better. I think Cam Bates has a lot of potential. He feels like he just turns into the Swiss Army knife with what he can offer in an offense with his speed and agility and all these things. But the efficiency, you want it to be a little bit better because the catch to target percentage, even the game prior, was not awesome for Cam. But I personally have confidence that in Cam Bates, I think he is going to be big time.
Well, what you mentioned, Jay, the two leading receivers in that game against UNLV first time around, Chris Marshall, 3 catches, 96 yards and a touchdown. Cam Bates, 3 catches, 54 yards. Nobody else had more than 2 catches for Boise State in that game. And as you said, Cam Bates also had the 35-yard touchdown run. So, those two guys are going to be massive pieces of this game. Jay, 3 days away, man. Crazy to believe. When we were, like I said, you think about that, how cold and wet and rainy and complaining I was sitting there in the press box in San Diego, versus where we are right now covering a championship game. And pretty cool. And I know it just lines up nicely. If you can find a way to win this game, you go to the LA Bowl, you get done on the 13th. Like it's it all lines up nicely. Yeah. Sometimes, as my wife said, usually the easiest way you want it is it doesn't always how it work out, but we'll see if they can do that on Friday.
I just want to say I got 2 things real quick here, BJ, because we're running overtime and I'm not paying for the meter. I'm kidding. But two things, and one of them is I'm not much like you in terms of if I see something on Twitter, I'm going to go out and engage with it, right? You do it even when people don't reply to you. I don't know, you live off this stuff. But I had a couple people reply to me, quote, tweet me, whatever. The Boise State's in the title game. They don't deserve that. What does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? Like, how can't you step back and look at this thing and go, holy cow, their starting quarterback got injured. They lost 2 games, and they were still good enough to put themselves in this position to host a Mountain West Conference championship game. To say they don't deserve it, like, come on now. Like, what are we even doing? I think it's remarkable. I think because we cover the team. We understand everything that's gone on this season. I think that, you could very easily argue that they might be the most deserving team to be in the Mountain West Conference Championship game because, I know it doesn't matter. I get it. Ifs, buts, whatever. But if Maddux Madsen doesn't get hurt, they might be freaking undefeated right now in playing for a spot to go to the college football playoff on Friday. So to say they don't deserve it, I disagree. And then finally, was yesterday not a national holiday for you? The net rankings were released, bud.
Where you're going with that?
The net rankings are officially out.
We didn't talk basketball today, no.
Boise State's a little low. They're at 80 right now.
7th hardest schedule. It doesn't matter what your net is. It matters what your opponent's is. So 7th hardest schedule in the nation so far, according to the net ranking.
We'll see if they can climb.
What are the plans, Jay, for Bronco Studios for signing day tomorrow? Big day tomorrow for Boise State and for Bronco Studios.
It's funny because had Boise State not been playing in a Mountain West Conference Championship game, I think they would have been more robust for everybody. But on a short week, I mean, it's funny. We saw Spencer Danielson. He got to the press conference actually spot on time yesterday. He was ready to roll, but it was just a little delayed as the Zoom was getting figured out or set up. And he's up there like phones out, texting. Like this is he makes it seem like a pretty casual week, but this is a very intense week for that coaching staff because you have signing day on Wednesday. You're prepping on a short week. You're prepping for a Mountain West Conference Championship game. So, we'll have some stuff tomorrow on Bronco Studios Live. Maybe the GM will join us.
There you go.
So we're figuring it all out. But I'm telling you, BJ, they're burning the midnight oil over there at Boise State and beating the sun up back to
another part of this whole recruiting and this whole coaches calendar, recruiting calendar. Yeah. You got signing day 2 days before you play in the biggest game of the season. The whole thing just makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, could you not bump that back a few days? Like, why is that conflicting with conference championship week? If anything, it feels like you are penalizing teams that play for conference titles. Like, what are we doing there?
Yeah, I agree. Well, we could talk about that topic all day. I know you got other better stuff to do, Jay. Appreciate your time, man, and we will see you down in interviews here shortly.
Sounds good, buddy.
Jay Tust, Bronco Studios. Go watch their show. Jeremiah Dickey was on yesterday. You heard Jesse Kurtz from the Mountain West Network as well. Don't forget signing day tomorrow. We got a massive show planned for you for signing day. We got Chris Van Sickle coming in the morning. We're going to have you live in the morning giving you updates. We'll have our live blog going tonight. The first signee should be at like 11 p.m. or midnight when the Swedish edge rusher signs. So when he signs late tonight, over there in Sweden, we'll get our live blog going. And then as every time zone hits, starting at 5 a.m. tomorrow, we'll have a live blog with all the news, all the info, all the bios, all the video highlights of all the commits that become signees tomorrow. Julius Favor, all these guys signing. Terrius Favors, I was thinking of his trainer, Julian Kovard. But when Terrius Favors signs tomorrow at 5 a.m., hopefully we'll be right on that. Chris Van Sickle is getting his rest today because it's going to be a long day tomorrow. So make plans to join us all day tomorrow. Starting at about 5 a.m., we'll have our live blog going on the website. We had 87 of you sign up for new subscriptions during our Black Friday sale. We really, really appreciate all of you guys that did that. 87 of you. You helped bring our total over 1,100 paying subscribers at Bronco Nation News. We truly appreciate the support. The 75% off deal, you're going to love it. Those of you that did not take advantage of that, they're still offering 50% off. So you can get 50% off right now at BroncoNationNews.com. And if you want to be able to have the best recruiting coverage around tomorrow, we will have it tomorrow for signing day. Again, live blog starting at about 5 a.m. Every 5 minutes, you can just refresh the page, and we're going to have new info, new stuff on the signees. We're going to have literally the one-stop shop for your recruiting coverage is going to be at BroncoNationNews.com. As I said, Chris is already working on stuff. It's going to be a tremendous day tomorrow. And then we will wrap up the day at 8 p.m. tomorrow, a live signing day special, 8 p.m. tomorrow. We'll be at the James Kitchen and Bar. You can watch live on YouTube. If you are a paying subscriber, you get to watch this show for free. Otherwise, you can come to the James and watch it, I guess, if you'd like. But the YouTube link is going to be a private show only for paying subscribers tomorrow night, 8 p.m. So the 1,120 of you that are paying subscribers, you get exclusive access tomorrow night, 8 p.m. to our signing day special show. We will go over the signees, the news of the day. Chris will give his analysis. Right now, it's trending towards the top class in the history of Boise State. They're 47th right now in our 247 rankings. It's got a chance to be the best class ever. And so we're going to have Chris breaking it down for you. We're going to have multiple signees join us live on the show. We may even have a signee or two that's local join us in person at the James. So if you want to hear all about the recruiting class, all about Boise State, that is tomorrow night at 8 p.m., our signing day special show, and that is subscriber only. So if you're a paying subscriber of BNN tomorrow, you can go in the VIP message boards. If you go to BroncoNationNews.com, log in. There's a VIP board. It's only for paying subscribers, and we will drop the YouTube link in there tomorrow, and that's how you'll be able to watch this live show only for paying subscribers. Signing day special tomorrow, 8 p.m. Again, you'll hear from Spencer Danielson. You'll hear from some of the recruits, the signees themselves, about what it was like to sign and join Boise State. And we'll break down the class and tell you all about it with Chris Van Sickle, our recruiting analyst here at BroncoNationNews.com. So if you missed out on the 75% offer, as I said, they is our higher-ups. Somebody said they. Who's they? Our higher-ups at 24/7 are the ones that decide on the specials and the discounts. I don't have any say in that. But our bosses are nice enough to keep the 50% offer going here for a little while. So if you missed out on the 75%, you can get 50% off Bronco Nation News off the annual price. I think it's just $60 maybe for the full year. It's half off whatever the normal price is. So if you want to jump on now, 50% off, you can. And then you'll be able at 5 a.m. tomorrow to start reading all of our recruiting coverage throughout the day. Any late news, we're still trying to find out what's going on with Cash Herrera, the quarterback. Chris is working on that. So tomorrow is going to be a crazy day for signing day. I think they have 27 players committed right now. So as I said, we'll have our live blog going with all kinds of news and information, interviews, updates throughout the day on the class. That'll be for paying subscribers of BNN. And then, as I said, 8 p.m. tomorrow, join us live. We'll put the link in the VIP message boards. Subscriber only. You'll a live signing day special where we'll talk about each player in the class. We'll interview some of the players that signed in the class. A ton of information. So how do you pay for someone else's subscription to get you one more? I appreciate you saying that, but honestly, I don't know how to do that because it renews every year. And people try to say, can I gift a 1-year subscription? I don't have any say in the credit card business, in the payments, the refunds. I don't do any of that. That's all the customer service team at 24/7 Sports. So I'm not really sure how that works because I don't know if you can only do 1 year. I think it would automatically renew after that. So I appreciate you saying that, but I just don't know if that's an option right now. So again, tomorrow, signing day, going to be a great day. Thank you to all of you, our new subscribers. If you're still on the fence and maybe you wished you had signed up but you didn't, we're still offering 50%. You can do that at BroncoNationNews.com. And tons of coverage. Signing day is tomorrow. It's going to be a huge day. And again, we'll have the Riley and Ridge show at 7 tomorrow, and that'll be for everybody. And then the subscriber-only show at 8 for signing day. And then Ball Talk, Sanford and Johnny, that is going to be on Thursday night this week on game day eve. Sanford and Johnny, 8 o'clock on Thursday, and that will be another subscriber-only show, Bronco Nation News. So it pays to be a subscriber, and right now you can get 50% off at BroncoNationNews.com. Friday morning, don't forget, join us Friday morning. Busy week here with Bronco Nation News, but Friday morning, 9 a.m., Mike Prater and I will be at Lithia Ford of Boise. Bring an unwrapped toy, and you can enter the raffle, and we'll have some gift cards and things to give away. I've got some gift cards to the James, some other things. Jackson's, I have a $100 gift card to Jackson's here. We have some other stuff. If you come by and put a unwrapped toy on Friday morning, 9 to 9:45 during our show, we're going to try to raise, get some toys for the those that need it for Christmas. And we'd love to see you on Friday. Come on by and bring an unwrapped toy for our KTIK Lithia Ford of Boise BNN toy drive. That'll be Friday morning game day. You know what? Start your game day off with some good mojo. You want to start off some good mojo, feeling good on Friday on game day. Bring an unwrapped toy to Lithia Ford of Boise on Friday. We'd love to meet some of you, and we'll throw your name in the pot for some gift cards and things if for those that show up. So we'll be live in the showroom there at 9 a.m. on Friday on Lithia Ford of Boise. And then still working out our pregame show details. We may be over in the Hall of Fame Plaza. We may be at the James. We're still kind of figuring that out. But going to be a fun week. And a busy week, and we got basketball against Butler on Saturday, so this week just doesn't end. It's going to be a lot of fun covering football this week. Signing day tomorrow, the game Friday. Basketball, their biggest game of the season on Saturday so far at Butler. So as their schedule continues to get tougher, so a lot going on. And Bronco Nation News is hopefully your spot to get all your coverage. And, we've got, a lot of these other outlets dedicate one person to BSU. We've got 4 that are regular contributors and writers, and we try to keep you covered from all angles. So can't wait for signing day tomorrow. Check our live blog. Again, it'll start tonight, 11 o'clock or midnight. The first signing should be in with the Swedish edge rusher. When he's the first guy to sign, we'll fire up the live blog. And then Chris V will be up, before 5 a.m. Got the coffee going early, and he'll have the live blog going all morning long. So check BroncoNationNews.com when you wake up. And join us at 9 a.m. Chris will pop on, give us the news of the class. Winston Venable going to join us tomorrow as well. So we'll have all kinds of recruiting coverage on the show. And then, as I said, the 8 o'clock p.m. signing day special tomorrow, subscriber only. That'll be at 8 p.m. So subscribe for 50% off today at BroncoNationNews.com. The shows tomorrow night will be at the James Kitchen and Bar out on the patio. Friday morning will be at Lithia, and then Friday pregame. Not sure where we'll be post-game Friday. We'll be back at the James, of course. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your continued support of Bronco Nation News. We got some interviews today. Cage Casey, Matt Lauder, I think a couple players talking at noon. We'll get down and get those interviews for you, and we'll get those posted to the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel this afternoon. But a lot going on. Appreciate all you guys for the support. Go subscribe if you haven't already. And we will talk to you guys bright and early, like 5 a.m. tomorrow for signing day. We'll see you over in the message boards at BroncoNationNews.com as well. Have a great day, everybody. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.